is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. This is your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio, presented by JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Access, Level 10 Coatings, Steiner Homes, Center Guard Plumbing, and by American Beam and Steel. With your host, Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, it's Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. The show is all about your home, inside and outside. Got a great guest today, Mike Epping with Center Guard Plumbing. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And there is no better expert. Check out his podcast. Check it out when it comes to water heaters. Mike is the guru and can tell you everything that's going on with water heaters. And, we talk about that a lot because that's one thing in your house from a plumbing point of view you're going to have to replace, right? You don't know if you're going to have to replace a pipe. You don't know if you're going to have to, replace it. But a water heater is always going to need to be changed. And we've been talking a lot about that. Now, with your company, Center Guard's a pretty big company. And you got a lot of people that you take care of all over the Chicagoland area and also Rockford, right?
Yeah.
So people listening in Rockford, they can give you a call as well. So give us some hints when it comes to, one of the things about plumbing that drives people crazy is it seems to be a 911. Okay? All of a sudden I got a pipe broke. All of a sudden I got a pipe froze. All of a sudden my water heater's out. It's a 911. And, it's pretty hard to do any kind of preventative on that. But as a professional plumber, can you tell us, for your typical homeowner, what are some preventative things that you can do to maybe have a few less emergencies?
Yeah, there's some good ones. I'm going to stick with the water heater just for this one thing that a homeowner should be doing. If you were to take your owner's manual, which is in a plastic bag on the side of your water heater,
yep,
and look at what you're supposed to do for maintenance. Now, most people don't do anything. They put them in
right,
and forget about them, and the only time is the 911 situation when they fail or they don't have hot water.
Right.
So every manufacturer recommends that tank be drained at least once a year to get the sediment off the bottom of the unit. The number one complaint that I hear from customers, after 4 or 5 years on a new water heater install is that it sounds like their water heater's making, popping popcorn.
Right.
Every time it heats up, I hear this noise. Well, if people would drain them once a year, you can eliminate that, and it's going to add to the life of the water heater. It's also going to save you money on either your gas or electric bill because now you're not heating a pile of sand at the bottom of the water heater. You're heating the water.
Now, when you do that, can you basically just do a drain? I know there are some people that will recommend that you use some air pressure and things like that. But, I mean, if you just drain it really good, is that, good maintenance?
It's better than doing none.
Okay.
That would be the first thing I would say. What we tell people is drain them, and then once they're drained down, actually turn the water back on and leave the hose on it and leave the drain valve open. And now the water pressure is going into the bottom of that and stirring that up and flushing it right out the bottom into the floor drain.
And that's something that only takes you a few minutes.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's worthwhile.
And it's worthwhile.
And if people can't do it, physically or depending on the situation, I mean, that's something that they can call us and we'll be extremely fair and come out and do that for them once a year. And we actually have customers that we actually have, a calendar set up where, every year that month we'll go back out and we'll make sure that we do that. The other thing people should do is vacuum around your water heaters.
Okay.
If you've got it in the laundry room, you've got lint, if you have pets, cats, dogs, all those things, dust in any way, on a gas appliance, it's pulling its air from the outside.
Okay.
And what will happen is if a customer looks at the sides, the right and left sides of their water heaters, they're going to see, like a small grid pattern of holes. That's the vent where it actually is pulling the oxygen in for the burner.
Right.
Well, if that gets clogged up, it causes premature failure in parts, gas controls, pilot assemblies, all of those things. So by vacuuming that area out, on a regular basis and keeping that clean, you're gonna save yourself some headaches in the future. One other thing with water heaters, and then I'll go on to a couple other things. flammables, paint cans, stain, any of those things.
Things you would have in a basement, maybe.
Yeah, yep. There's a flammable vapor sensor on every single gas water heater.
Okay.
That if it, senses a flammable, whether it's air, somebody staining or painting around the water heater, it'll actually shut itself off.
And when would it go back on?
If you're handy enough, you might be able to get it reset, but normally that requires you replacing that breaker.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's a breaker that just...
Yeah, it's right on the bottom right of the tank, normally behind the door. And once that goes, you can sometimes reset them, but normally you're going to end up replacing them. So what I'm asking people to do is if, you've got that mechanical room and you store, your paint cans and your things for cleaning wood. You're better at that than I am. You've got more carpentry background, but mineral spirits, all those different things.
Keep them away from the water heater.
Keep them away from the water heater. Keep them away from your furnace. Keep them away from those gas appliances. If you know that you're going to be having, wood floors refinished, especially oil-based stains,
Right.
You want to leave your home for, 3 days to a week to do that. Well, if you leave your water heater on, when you come home, you're not going to have hot water.
Yeah.
And you're going to be calling somebody.
You talk about the maintenance on water heaters. Does it make a difference if you have regular water or soft water when it comes to, the problems that it causes with water heaters?
It really depends. I could say both. I have hard water situations where tanks last 20 years, and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then I have people with soft water that, have paid a fortune for filtration and iron filters and water softeners, and theirs only lasts 8 years. I haven't figured out, what that is, and neither have the manufacturers because they've changed the anode rods so many different times to try to help fight that. And it seems like on wells, it's just individual aquifers and in the makeup of that water and what causes them to fail prematurely.
So you maintenance on your water heater no matter what.
Yeah. One more big one, litter boxes.
Litter boxes.
Ammonia. Litter boxes.
Wow.
Do not have the litter box right next to the water heater, or the same thing's going to happen. You're going to end up calling us to replace your flammable vapor sensor.
Wow. Okay. Really good tips there, Mike. Other things on preventive maintenance that people can do so they don't have as many 911s.
Yeah, the biggest thing, in the cold this time of year, in the fall, make sure you take the hose off of your outside spigots. Mm-hmm. That's the number one that you can save yourself anywhere from $400 to $1,200 to get that replaced, come spring. Mm-hmm. Not to mention you can damage your home if you turn that on, in the spring and you don't realize that it's ruptured because the leak is inside. It's not on the outside.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. So I always tell people in the spring, before you use that hose for the first time, it's a 2-person job. Someone go outside, hook the hose up, whatever you're going to do, filling a bucket, have somebody else go in the basement and make sure that over the winter, that pipe didn't freeze on the inside.
Yeah. Do you recommend on that with those outside water spigots is to have a shutoff valve on it all the time, on each one before it goes out?
Absolutely. It's actually code in the state of Illinois that you have that on the inside of your home.
Okay.
A lot of the older homes do not have that. So if you're going to, at some point, replace your outside spigot, make sure the plumber, hopefully they call us, but if you call somebody else, make sure you have a valve on the inside. And every spring or every fall, when you take that hose off, go down and turn that valve off.
Yep.
And that's going to help you because in the spring when you turn that valve back on, if that frost-free spigot did freeze on the inside of the home, it'll leak immediately.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, that's good to know. Anything else as far as, we don't have a lot of time, but give us some more things that you should do for good preventive maintenance.
Make sure you use your fixtures on a regular basis. If you don't go into your basement bathroom very often and it's not used, make sure you just go down there once a month, twice a month, and run those fixtures. Mm-hmm. It'll add to the life of those. Another one is cleaning your faucet aerators or your shower heads. This is huge.
Okay.
The number one failure of a faucet, a kitchen faucet, a vanity faucet, anything like that, is back pressure. So you have an aerator, a screen. Everyone's got one on every faucet they have, whether it's a handheld sprayer or just a spout. Take that off and clean it if you've noticed that your pressure is a little bit lower, or sometimes you'll see the water spraying out differently than it did before. It's very easy to take that off and clean that out. And it's important because if you don't do that, what it's going to do, the back pressure, you're getting more pressure into the faucet body that can't come through the spout and the aerator.
And that's going to cause a problem.
It's going to cause the cartridge to fail, and it's going to cause leaks, and you're going to have to replace a faucet that you wouldn't have had to replace.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
Or if you got a problem with a pipe, you may end up with a leak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the pressure on there. Great tips. And, of course, if you're looking for anything to do with plumbing, check them out. Best thing to do is go to the website, centerguardplumbing.com. Mike's been in business a long time. He's got a lot of experience, and he handles the entire Chicagoland area, even up to Rockford. And, I really think that you're a great guy to have a conversation with, whether you're looking at doing a repair, if you're looking at doing some remodeling. And the phone number is 847-406-8883, 847-406-8883. Mike, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's Center Guard Plumbing, and this is Home Answers on AM 560, The Answer.